the off season. A time to relax, time to recover, a time to... Wait, race registration? Oh geez, there's so many options, distances, locations. Okay, do I want mountains? A looped course? Do I do a 50 miler, 100? Maybe I should do something flatter. Wait, no, I need vert, but cutoffs. Aid stations, pacers. Oh crap. I just wish there was something that could help me out. I know, I'll check YouTube. I know there's gotta be some elite stud that can help me with this decision. Four considerations when choosing your next ultra marathon. This might work.
Hey friends, and welcome back to the channel. And I want to welcome back season 2 of the Cool Down Catch Up, a weekly catch up of what went down last week in training. A series where I bring you along on my journey through trail running and ultramarathon training. However, it's going to look a little different this season. Instead of weekly updates highlighting every single run, I'm going to be releasing bi-weekly episodes, diving deeper into the world of ultra running. Each video, I'm going to be highlighting different topics revolving around training for my upcoming season. Everything from race selection to goal setting, to nutrition planning, and well, of course, training, and everything in between. I'm hoping to bring on some expert advice, highlight key workouts, and share the lessons I'm learning as I prepare. While I am a complete amateur, I aim for these videos to not only be entertaining, but also educational, to share what I'm learning, mistakes I'm making, and the expert advice I use along the way. And to serve as a reminder that just because you may not be the Jims or the Courtneys of the world, that doesn't mean that you can't take your training serious. To kick things off, I want to talk about one of the most exciting and sometimes overwhelming parts of the journey, choosing the right race. Whether you're running your first ultra or tackling a new distance, race selection is about so much more than just picking a date or a cool location. It's about matching the race to your goals, your strengths, and even your personality as a runner. So, why does race selection even matter? Choosing your race is more than just scrolling and blindly registering for whatever race you land upon. It's about setting yourself up for success by aligning your race with your strengths, goals, and aspirations. And for me, it really comes down to, does this race motivate and inspire me? Training for an ultramarathon is hard, and it takes a lot of work and time. The next however many months are going to be dedicated to this goal, so it's best to have something on the docket that excites you. I want to share with you my 4 key things to consider when choosing your race. And then at the end, I will show you how I implemented these exact factors into choosing my race. And hopefully these can help you on your next race selection. And if you make it to the end, I'm going to reveal what my race schedule looks like so far for the 2025 season. So stick around. And I also have a 5th little bit of a bonus tip to consider at the end. First up, while kind of obvious, you need to decide the distance of your race you want to tackle. The beauty of this is there are so many races of every distance, everything between a 5K to 200 miles, and everything in between. This might seem obvious, but choosing the right distance can kind of make or break your experience. You want a challenge, sure, but it has to be one you're ready for, both physically and mentally. If you're stepping up to a new distance, it's critical to ask yourself a couple of questions. Am I ready for this distance? Training for a 50 miler or a 100 miler isn't just about logging miles. It's about consistent effort, week after week after week, and months. Can you commit to the time, energy, and recovery that this distance demands? And then, why this distance? Ask yourself, what's motivating me to take on this goal? Is it a personal milestone, a bucket list race, or maybe you just want to see how far you can push yourself? Whatever the reason, make sure it's meaningful to you. It's what will keep you going through those tough training days. The next factor to consider is location, location, location. Do you want to race in a closer proximity to your home, or do you want to travel? Choosing a race closer to home can relieve a lot of logistical planning and also offers the opportunity to train on sections of the course to give you some familiarity, while choosing a destination race also allows you to explore an area you may have never been to and can create some amazing memories. But with that comes logistics. Decision on location also play a role into the environment you'll be running in. Do you want to experience the rugged alpine of the Rocky Mountains, or the rolling trails of the desert, or the technical single track of the East Coast? The terrain you choose should excite you, should motivate you, and should inspire you. Next factor, and a really important detail to consider, is the course profile. Everything from elevation gain and loss and the terrain technicality. Are you looking for a vert-heavy course with steep, grueling climbs with more elevation than you know what to do with? Or are you looking for a fast and flowy race? Not all races are created equal. I think the perfect quick examples are two of the most famous 100-milers in the United States, Western States and Hard Rock. Both 100 miles, both very different. Western States has an elevation gain of just over 18,000 feet and reaching a high point of 8,700 feet, and is a historically fast race with a course record at 14 hours, 9 minutes, and 28 seconds. While Hard Rock gains 33,200 feet of gain and a high point of over 14,000 feet, with an average elevation over 11,000 feet above sea level, and the course record being held at 21 hours and 33 minutes, over 7 hours longer than Western States. So let's start with considering elevation change and how much climbing and descending the course may have. If what motivates you is a faster, more runnable course, maybe consider a lower elevation gain, flatter course, and you'll need to focus on sustained, steady efforts. Or if you're like me and the uphill whispers sweet nothings in your ear, look for a race with higher elevation gain, which means you'll need to build strength for the long climbs and technical descents. And just like not all races are created equal, nor are trails and trail technicality, it's another aspect of course profile to consider. Is it smooth and runnable, or will you be scrambling over rocks and roots? Technical terrain requires agility, strength, focus, especially late in a race when fatigue sets in. And finally, my last consideration is timing. This doesn't only come down to does it fit into my personal schedule, but do I have enough time to get a good training block in for this? Are you starting from scratch and you need more time? Or do you have a solid base and you can get away with a shorter block? Another consideration, which is really important one, is seasonal weather, not only for the race, but also training. A spring race means training through the winter and often in snow, cold, and shorter daylight hours. A summer race can mean dealing with heat and humidity or even wildfire season in certain areas. Fall races might give you ideal temperatures, but training through the summer in heat can be tough. Lastly, if you're planning to do multiple races, what's the recovery time look like? Some races take weeks to months to fully recover. If you have a goal race, are you going to run a prep race, and when does that fall? And my bonus tip is to research your potential race picks registration requirements. Some races have qualifications that must be met, so it's important to know these ahead of time to make sure you're all squared away. And also, some races sell out quick, so be aware of when race registrations open and close. And also know that some races are lotteries, and it's not a given that you'll get in. I'm a perfect example. I really wanted to run High Lonesome this year. And I went to the live lottery party, and while a few of my friends' names got pulled.
And from Morrison, Colorado, James Schills, Daniel Tramp, Logan Missenheimer. Hey, we got it!
I was a no-go. Okay, so now that we've gone over some of the key considerations to take when choosing your next ultra, I'm just gonna quickly go over how I used each of these to settle on my race schedule so far. And we will start with inspiration, what excites and motivates me. And that's pushing myself in the mountains. Next up, distance. I know that this summer, my goal was to tackle the 100-mile distance. Location. So, Colorado has my heart, and I know I wanted to shuffle around the Rocky Mountains. On top of that, I wanted to spend time on course, doing some of my training runs directly on the course. Elevation profile. As I mentioned before, big elevation gain and me have a little bit of a romance thing going on. So I know that the race I want to choose will be influenced on how much gain is involved. Lastly, timing. And this year, I do have an event that I need to plan around, a wedding. A tool that I use all the time is ultrarunning.com, which has an ultra race calendar, which you can filter through out every aspect you're looking for. So when it came down to it, there were 4 races that caught my eye: Silver Hills 100, High Lonesome 100, Creed 100, and the San Juan Softy. Going with the fact that I wanted to be able to train on course, I dropped off Creed 100 and San Juan Softy off my potential races for this year. So that left me with High Lonesome and Silver Hills. And as you recall, high-low was the lottery, and no such luck for this guy. So this is my big announcement. My A-goal race of this year will be the Silver Hills 100 on July 11th near Fairplay, Colorado. I'm excited because I should be able to spend a lot of training runs on course, and it looks like a great high alpine adventure. As a little bonus, I'm also registered for the Quad Rock 50 on May 10th. And I use my exact method I used before when choosing this race. My motivation? I wanted a prep race for Silver Hills. Distance? 50 miles. Location? Colorado, so that I wouldn't need to travel. Elevation profile? I wanted something with a decent amount of gain because I wanted it to mimic Silver Hills. And then timing? I needed it to be far enough out from Silver Hills to give me enough time to recover and then build up again. I hope this video was helpful and that you can take and implement these considerations into your next big race decision. I'd also love to hear from you guys. What races have you registered for this upcoming season, and maybe a consideration that you use when picking a race? Leave a comment below. Next episode, we're gonna go into base building and its importance when getting back into a training block. Thank you so much for sticking around. If you don't mind, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, remember, adventure awaits.